Someone asks, "How are you?" And before you even check, you say, "I'm fine." You might be exhausted. You might be hurt. You might have spent the whole day trying not to fall apart, but the answer is still the same. And the strange part is, sometimes you wish they knew it was not the whole truth. Maybe you want them to notice the pause before you answer, or the way your smile does not quite reach your eyes. But if they ask again, you may give them the same response. "I'm fine, really." Then the conversation moves on. Sometimes "I'm fine" is not an answer, it is an exit. It closes the subject before things get uncomfortable. It stops questions you may not know how to answer, and for a moment, it lets you keep moving. This does not necessarily mean you are trying to deceive anyone. The answer may come so quickly that you hear it at the same time they do. And once that exit becomes familiar, you may start using it even with people who genuinely want to stay. From the outside, you may look completely okay. You still answer messages. You still finish your work. You still remember to ask everyone else how they are doing. That is part of what makes the pattern hard to notice. A friend tells you about a terrible week, and you listen carefully. When they ask about yours, you say, "Nothing much, just busy." Someone offers to help, and you insist that you have everything handled. Something hurts you, but you make a joke about it. You stay composed until you are alone. Then the irritation, tears, or exhaustion finally show up. Sometimes you want someone to notice, but when they do, you feel exposed. You smile, change the subject, reassure them that there is nothing to worry about. You may even use the fact that you are still functioning as proof that nothing is wrong. You went to work, you answered the call, you got through the day, so how bad could it be? But looking okay and feeling okay are not the same thing. Functioning can hide a great deal, especially when you have had years of practice. To understand that gap, it helps to think of "I'm fine" as a one-word weather report. Someone asks what it is like inside you, and no matter what is happening, the forecast says clear skies. Exhaustion becomes a long day. Hurt becomes no big deal. Anger becomes "I'm just tired." Fear becomes "I'll figure it out." It is simple, it is familiar, and most people do not question it, and it may not feel like a lie. It may be the only answer you learned how to give. A clear forecast prevents follow-up questions. It keeps other people calm. It protects you from unwanted advice, awkward concern, or a conversation you are not ready to have. So you keep giving it. After a while, other people believe the weather is fine because that is the information they have. And eventually, you may believe it too. You stop looking closely. You notice the storm only when it has already become sleeplessness, tension, numbness, anger, or tears behind a closed door. If every kind of weather gets called fine, you eventually stop checking the sky. But people usually learn to give an inaccurate forecast because honesty once came with a cost. Maybe you tried to explain how you felt, and someone quickly said, "You're fine." Perhaps your sadness made an adult anxious, so you ended up calming them. Maybe your problem was compared with someone else's larger problem. Or honesty brought a lecture, a solution, or more attention than you wanted. Sometimes the people around you loved you deeply. They just did not know what to do with difficult feelings. They may have been stressed, distracted, overwhelmed, or dealing with struggles of their own. A child does not need to understand any of that. They only notice what happens next. They notice that cheerful answers keep the day moving. Small problems are easier for everyone. Certain feelings make the room tense. So they adjust. Later, the same lesson may continue in friendships, school, work, or relationships. If honesty leads to dismissal, discomfort, or extra work, you learn to reduce the signal. "I'm fine" keeps the connection while hiding the part that might complicate it. You did not stop having feelings. you learned that reporting them could cost too much. That response can make one moment easier, but over time, the missing information begins to shape your life. First, people cannot respond to what they cannot see. You say you do not need help, so they believe you. You say something did not bother you, so they move on. You tell your partner you are okay, then feel hurt when they do not offer comfort. That can be confusing. Part of you knows you gave them no reason to respond differently. Another part still wishes they had somehow understood. People may care about you deeply and still not know how much you are carrying. The second cost is that your own feelings become harder to identify. When you minimize something often enough, you stop asking what it actually did to you. You say, "It was not a big deal," but replay it late at night. You say you are just tired, though what you really feel may be angry, lonely, embarrassed, or disappointed. The feeling does not disappear because it was never named. It simply finds another route. It may show up as a headache, a short temper, a blank, heavy mood, or tears that seem to arrive for no reason. The third cost is that people may like you without really knowing you. People may know you as reliable, funny, calm, or easygoing. They know the version of you who listens well and rarely asks for much. Their affection can be completely real. But being liked is not always the same as feeling known. If every difficult part stays out of sight, closeness has a limit. People can only meet the person you allow them to see. And the fourth cost is that distress has to become extreme before it feels valid. Ordinary hurt does not seem important enough to mention. You wait. You keep functioning. You tell yourself that other people have it worse. Then one day, a simple task feels impossible, or a small disappointment brings a much larger reaction than you expected. It looks sudden from the outside, but it usually is not sudden. It is what happens when every smaller signal has been waved through as fine. Underneath all of this is a quieter sadness. The difficult part is not only that you kept things to yourself, it is that people may have loved the version of you who always seemed okay. And that can be confusing, because the love was real, but so was everything they could not see. Maybe people described you as cheerful while you remembered how much effort that cheerfulness took. Maybe someone finally said, "I had no idea," and you realized you had given them no way to know. Perhaps you wanted someone to ask again, yet felt relieved when they did not. You wanted to be noticed without having to make your pain obvious. You wanted company, but not the feeling of becoming a problem. That contradiction does not mean you were playing games. It means being seen could feel comforting and dangerous at the same time. You may have been surrounded by care and still felt hidden inside the word fine. The way forward is not to tell everyone everything. You do not owe every person a full account of your private life, and every conversation does not need to become a confession. Privacy can be healthy. The change is learning to notice when "I'm fine" is a choice and when it is an automatic door closing. Sometimes a more honest answer is still small. "I'm tired, but I don't want to talk about it yet. Something is bothering me. I'm still working out what it is." Or simply, "I'm not sure." These answers do not reveal everything. They also do not ask someone else to fix everything for you. They just make the report a little more accurate. And that accuracy begins with a pause. A moment between the question and the familiar answer. Enough time to check what is actually there. Maybe the answer really is fine. Maybe it is not. Either way, you are no longer speaking before you know. You do not have to report every cloud, but you are allowed to stop calling every storm fine. Maybe the phrase protected you when a more honest answer felt too complicated. You do not have to hate it. You only need more than one forecast. Some days, you may be fine. Other days, the honest answer may be, "I'm not sure yet." And sometimes, it may simply be, "Not today." That is not making the weather worse. It is finally looking at the sky